What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of On the Bluff. I'm your host, Christian Fowler, and joining me, as always, my co-host, Gabe Kuhn, our producer, Kenny Stubblefield. Boys, we are finally all back in the same place at the same time. How sweet it is.
We're back.
Yeah, and we have football this week, too. It's perfect timing.
Oh,
gorgeous timing. Hall of Fame game on Thursday.
Yep.
It's just so good to see y'all.
It's always, man.
I can't believe it. We're back.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. That's how you know it's summer, when it's like if you are an avid listener to the podcast during the summer, you do not know who's going to be on any given week. Sometimes it might be me and Gabe, sometimes Gabe and Kenny, sometimes me and Kenny. It's unpredictable during the summer.
Listen, I've done sports talk radio for 5 years.
Wait, where at, Gabe?
As a host.
What show? What show is this?
The Gabe Kuhn Show, 92.9, 4 to 7 p.m. Central
baby.
Time. 92.9, 680 a.m. iHeartRadio app. Go to the Odyssey app. You can use the rewind feature. But I've been doing sports talk radio for 5 years, 4 years as a host. And this summer in Memphis sports was active for a summer.
It was.
Yeah.
And not a lot. I mean, there's some negative storylines like Desmond Bain was traded, and then the Big 12 Memphis stuff that you missed out on the conversation last week, Christian, and the arrest of Sincere Parker and the NCAA stuff. Like, honestly, this summer, as opposed to summers past, it kept us busy. It did.
Yeah. I want to know before we do. Don't worry about the weekends. We all know what our weekends were like. We had fun.
Oh no, stop it!
No, you can't miss Gabe's last
Creed.
Night.
Listen, I broke 90 for the first time on the golf course this weekend, so that was
nice.
Hey, shout out.
Sunday night. This is the sad thing. It was a Sunday night. I wish it was a Saturday night. So I was a little bit slow today. It's Monday when we're recording. You guys know this release on Tuesday. I was a little slow today. But Sunday night's Creed Daughtry concert ripped, brother. The nostalgia hit I got, it was like crack. I mean, it was so good. And
were you singing along? That's what
my God. I have videos to send you guys. Scott Stapp, he no longer has the long hair. Haven't seen him in a while. He's still, I'm telling you, still in his prime. Guys swole up. Got the buzz cut, still wearing the same old clothes he always wears, like all black with boots. They didn't really play their hits for like the first hour, but 11 o'clock hit, and they went arms wide open, higher, one last breath, ended it on My Sacrifice. There was one, I was amazed with the crowd, not a single empty seat in the place.
In Creed, I'm
not a single empty seat. It was unreal. It was a sellout. And then the second thing that just took me by surprise is how, like, Scott can still sing, man. He can still get it going. And the amount of like engagement he got on those last 4 songs, everybody stood up, everybody was singing along. It was phenomenal, guys. Like I would tell you, I've been waiting 6 months for this concert since I bought tickets.
Yeah,
I would tell you if it didn't live up to my expectation, but this one exceeded it, man.
Oh wow!
Like goosebumps all night. It was great. So I just had to get that out there in the open.
Creed and Daughtry, that might be a top 5 whitest concert of all time.
White boy.
Oh hell yeah! Divorced dad concert.
Yeah. Like the amount of divorced dads there had to just be.
Dude, our crew there, this is one of the funniest things. I already told you off air, Christian, but we had 3 wives. Taylor was there. My buddy Evan's wife was there. My buddy Riley's wife was there. 3 wives. 13 bros. We took up a whole row. 3 women, 13 men. I can't imagine. Like, they were rocking out to the music as well, but they were severely outnumbered by us bros, just broing down.
It was bro
in section 107 of the FedEx Forum.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Are you too young? Are you too young for Creed, Christian?
Me?
Yeah.
You definitely not.
Oh, okay.
Dude, there's like that group of bands. Like, there's 3 Doors Down. There's
Shinebox.
Crossfade is Crossfade.
Shinebox. Shine Down.
Shine Down.
Sorry.
Stained. Stain,
yeah.
Stained rocks. I'd go see a Stain concert if I don't even know if they're still together or if they tore. But Creed's sort of in that ilk. Like that's
Nickelback's got to be in there too.
Yeah, Nickelback, but like some people that used to like Nickelback don't like Nickelback anymore. But I'm not going to be shamed into not liking Creed or Nickelback.
It became popular to not like Nickelback, but I'm telling you, they still go. Like,
well, it's kind of similar with Creed too, right? Like Creed's one of those bands where it's like people will talk crap about them, but everybody listens to them also. Like it's like they're guilty pleasure. It's like Nickelback where people talk so much trash.
Well, like everybody just does this like, well, it's contrived music. Like it's not, it's not very inventive. It's been done before. It's like I don't give a shit if it rocks,
a little bit.
Rocks.
Live
if
a
it's
little
awesome,
bit.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I really don't care, man. And I guess it's a guilty pleasure, but for me, it's just a pleasure. Like like if I'm playing music at my house, there will be Creed on. I will probably throw some Stained on. Crossfade's gonna get some play. Like you're gonna hear that shit at my house.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with
I have no shame about it.
The greatest night of concerts I've ever been to was in 2000, and it was the Bill Street Music Festival. When Bill Street Music Festival was still the place to go, right? Yeah. In one night, it was Stone Temple Pilots. It was Incubus, and it was oh my God, what was the other one? What's the band? Shit. I cannot remember what the band is. I'll find that before we get done.
Was Sublime there?
No, it wasn't Sublime, but it was this band, Stone Temple Pilots, then Incubus, all in a row. And
Three Doors Down.
It was a band. Oh my gosh, I'll have to find the band.
I think you got the wrong year.
What year was it?
2000 was Three Doors Down, Bryan Adams, Foo Fighters.
Definitely not that year. Maybe I thought it was 2000, but maybe 2001.
Let's see. Everybody. Quick,
you old ass dude. I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I was 19 or 20.
Nope, not 2001 either.
When did Stone Temple Pilots, Incubus, and I had a bunch of my
tip of your tongue.
I had a bunch of my college friends there. So whenever that was it 99? I don't know.
Green Day?
No, it wasn't Green Day.
2002.
Was it 2002? There you go.
Was Hoobastank there and Kid Rock and Bush?
Bush was there. It was Bush was the other band. Yes.
Yeah. 2002. John Mayer, Incubus, Counting Crows, Stone Temple Pilots, Kid Rock, Bush, Hoobastank, Puddle of Mud, 3-6 Mafia, Hootie and the Blowfish, Saliva.
Yes.
Pretty good lineup.
No, dude, it's a lineup, boy. Hell
yeah, dude. That was crazy.
Right.
That was fun.
All right, boys. Well, let's move it along. Gabe kind of brought up at the beginning of the episode, said it has not been too dry of a summer, but most of it has been pretty negative news. And we got some more recently. And we'll kind of rope this in with the American Conference Media Days because it was talked about there, and that is sharing playbooks. This is not one that I have ever seen, but when I'm gonna go 30,000 foot view overarching theme real quick, and then we'll talk about it. But like this is an offshoot of no loyalty to teams. I'm gonna put that ground level, and then we can move up from there. But if you did not see it, former Memphis safety Taj Rah-El was kind of put on blast this weekend for sending Memphis's defensive playbook to UTSA quarterback Owen McCown. And if you remember that game, UTSA's offense was rolling. I think, was it 44-36, I believe, was the final score of that game.
Dynamic that game, more so than any game they had.
Owen McCown finished with 280 some odd yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah. So, Kenny, I think you've got the DMs. Can you throw those up there for people that are watching on YouTube?
Yeah,
if you are
I want us to shout out before we go any further. Sam Shoemaker from Tiger Sports Report.
Yes.
And On Three guys absolutely dominated the story.
And before you throw this screenshot up there, yes, phenomenal work. by Sam Shoemaker, who graduates in 2027. I have an interview that I did at 92.9. You can go check it out. We have it up on the site. Phenomenal stuff. Very well-spoken kid. He was actually, as soon as he broke the news, he was on the road for like some he's doing like some religious work. I think I don't know where, but he went on a road trip with some people from his church. So there's that. But I am still wrecking my brain, and he'll never tell us this. How do you get your hands on this screenshot?
Yeah. How? There's Anthony Sane on the Anthony Sane show conjectured that it was a scorned female of Taj Rah-El sent it.
Well, but then Taj would have had to send that to her.
Unless she got his phone.
Or unless she was next to him. I mean, listen, your guess is as good as mine because I have no idea.
How?
I have no idea, but throw that DM up there.
Yeah, so for if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us, leave a comment, engage with us. But if you're just listening and if you haven't heard yet, I'll kind of read it. So at the very top, you can see a picture of what appears to be a playbook. It says, "Here you go, though. That's all the signals." A bunch of crying emojis from Owen McCown, and then multiple messages from Taj Rah-El. Far left is coverages. I'll send you better lists showing you the calls. They run quarters, and none of their safeties can cover, by the way. No reroutes on the slot to the field, or no reroutes on the slot. The field safety is the weakest link in the defense. His hamstring's hurting, but he's running out of eligibility. So when you play him, he's number 0, and that's Cortland Marsh.
That's the shit that pisses me off more than anything.
Well, and it also made me laugh. His hamstring's hurting, and he's running out of eligibility. Well, Cortland Marsh had another year to play.
Right. And he beat you out. He beat you out.
And you're basically calling him the weak link. Brother, he beat you out.
Yeah.
Like
that's another aspect to this. Taj Rah-El was on the team, off the team, on the team, off the team. Like it was, and I don't know if was it put out like why he was on and off?
Yes, he got caught. He stole a PS5 from Cortland Marsh.
The information that I've gathered is he stole a PS5 from Cortland Marsh and sold it. Tried to sell it online.
So
and then he was kicked off, but they brought him back because Cortland got hurt, because they needed depth. And then he had some more run-ins, and then he was officially off the team.
Yeah, so it was never good for Taj Rah-El at Memphis. And this is actually somebody that a lot of people were hyped about. He was one of their highest ranked transfers coming out of Old Dominion. Like he was expected
84 tackles at Old Dominion.
Right. He was expected to be a big piece of this defense last year. But overall, like this is absurd. I've never seen anything like this. I'm sure there have been maybe some instances like this, but there's a couple aspects here that really aggravate me. And the biggest one being the statement that was released from Taj Rah-El's people saying, you probably don't have that, do you?
I was going to bring it up. I have it in front of me.
Read that, and
we'll break it down a piece at a time. You ready? In light of recent reports surrounding our client Taj Rah-El and the allegations stemming from his time prior to leaving the University of Memphis, we feel it is important to address the situation directly. This has been a difficult period for all involved. While there are differing perspectives on what happened, Taj acknowledges that errors in judgment may have been made. At no point was there any intent to harm teammates or compromise the integrity of the game he loves. Taj holds a deep respect. That's enough. Time out. I agree.
The rest.
That whole paragraph, those two sentences, or three sentences, foolish.
At no point was there any intent to harm teammates or compromise the integrity of the game that he loves. There is nothing more that you can do to compromise the integrity of the game than what Taj Rah-El did. Like there's no more. And let's put this into perspective, because we know as massive sports fans how pissed off people get when players bet, right? Like we know that's a big deal. Pete Rose never made it to the Hall of Fame because of this. We've seen players kicked out of the NFL and NBA because of this. That's an integrity of the game thing. Betting on it because you can control certain outcomes. You have deeper knowledge than other people do. That's wrong. This, in my opinion, is 100 times worse. Like it doesn't get you. You cannot compromise the integrity of the game any more than completely giving the other team every bit of what you're going to do. Like, for me, it's just it is asinine to think that any competitor in any level on any team would say, you know what, screw all of these people that I play with. I do not care. I'm so pissed at the coaching staff and the players in front of me. and I'm not getting a fair chance. I'm not in the starting lineup, and I'm better than all these people. Like, to get to a point where you send out your signals to an opposing quarterback, which was a high school teammate of his. He and Owen McCown played high school football together, so there's a prior relationship there. But to me, it's just insane. Like, this is one of the crazier things I've ever seen as far as cheating, unfair advantages, things like that go.
Yeah, this is treacherous, brother. You don't do this. I've seen multiple guys when I was at the University of Memphis be angry with the coach or want to get in the go transfer, pissed off because they're not getting playing time. I don't think any of those guys ever had it cross their mind, hey, I'm going to go leak the playbook to our opponents. Right. Like, that's just some bullshit. And like, between the stolen PS5 and that, like, you know what it tells me? I don't know Taj Rah-El. I don't know him, but I think perception becomes reality when you see things like this. And you know what it tells me? He's not a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's at Purdue right now, and he's probably not facing anything. Because I don't think UTSA should be punished for this, because this is something that's just landed in their lap, given to them. Are they lying or stretching the truth about how much it helped them? Maybe. But I don't think they should be punished. Taj Rah-El should be punished in some way, shape, or form. And maybe that has to do with my old coach, one of my favorite guys in the world, Barry Odom, saying, brother, this isn't worth it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze with your ass. Like, if you can do that to Memphis, you can do that to Purdue too.
100%.
So pay attention to that. But go back to the Taj Rah-El agent statement, because I want to dig even deeper on the, they said, you brought up the integrity part, but he says there was never any intent to harm teammates. Well, twofold. One, you're harming your teammates by having them potentially lose a game. Right? Like, that's harm. That's doing harm in itself. Also, you gave UTSA some things that they wouldn't have, because their injury reports were not a part of American Conference football. You told them that his Cortland Marsh's hamstring was hurting. They could target that. They could, but they have that information now. You are actively doing harm by letting them know that information.
Yeah.
And then go back to the statement again one more time. He said, while there are differing perspectives on what occurred, what differing perspectives are we talking about?
Pretty
I think there's one
obvious
perspective here. It's that he sent that DM to the starting quarterback of UTSA the week before the game. UTSA won 44-36. And let's think about what that game meant. No more American Conference Championship plans, no more college football playoff plans, even though they probably would have been dashed later in the season anyway, because Boise State was undefeated. Either way, I think I agree with you, Christian. I hate what Taj did. I think the response from his team and his agency is almost worse than the actual action, because you're not taking any accountability.
Yeah.
And you're making everyone think they're taking crazy pills. And I thought to a certain extent Owen McCown and Jeff Traylor tried to do that at AAC or at American Conference Media Days. I didn't like that either.
Yeah, no. No, I wasn't a big fan. All right, Kenny, are you going to play those, and then we'll?
I can if you want me to.
Let's do this. Let's play the Owen McCown one.
Yeah,
I think we play the Owen McCown one.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, obviously, first and foremost, I didn't ask for any of that information. It kind of, based off my little emoji reaction, you can see it caught me, by surprise of what happened. Like Coach said, the information was completely irrelevant. And
that's one time he said irrelevant. Let's keep counting.
How we take week in and week out, how we prepare. It was like I said, completely irrelevant, and that's all it was.
Owen, do you feel like this paints you in a bad light? Like, what would you say to the people who are kind of almost attacking you at this point?
Yeah, I just think they don't know how we process week in and week out. Like I said, the information had made zero sense. It was completely irrelevant to what we do week in and week out.
Yeah, a couple things here. So he starts off by saying that it was unprompted and it fell in his lap. I don't want to make any accusations, but just looking at it, the first message from Taj is, "Here you go, though." That's all the signals. That's the first two messages. That just doesn't sound like something you're dropping in somebody's lap.
Right.
Like that sounds like a response. Like they had been having a dialogue, and then in comes, "Oh, here you go, though. Here's the signals." They were talking. Like it sounds like
it's like they were talking about it before, which is a good catch by you.
It was already being discussed, and then he says, like, "You can tell by my emojis it caught me by surprise." To me, like, and I know this is so like low level, kind of dumb, but like, I mean, we're young, like we understand, we know, like the way that people use emojis, like crying face is something like what he used is like a thank you almost. Like I can't believe this is happening.
No, but
Thank
also
you type
it's like
deal.
I can't believe he really just sent me these.
Yes, like
Yes.
you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
And
Like you're for real. You hate Memphis. You hate what they did to you. I cannot believe you offered to send this and you actually did it.
you follow
Cry
through.
face-
Like that's what
cry
those
face
emojis could be
emoji,
taken
cry
as
face
as
emoji.
well.
yeah,
Cry face
so
emoji.
there's that aspect of it, and then there's the obvious. We counted them up. The irrelevant aspect. There's in no world that if you have someone else's playbook, it is irrelevant.
Well, and then injury information, and
Right.
then they tell you that there's no reroutes to the field. They are in the slot. They tell you that they only run quarters. He
Yeah.
tells you their weak link, and then he sends the play calls.
Which
There's
let-
no way that that's irrelevant to a game plan or to a game. There's no
And,
chance. And also worth mentioning, he's very. How coached was that statement? How coached
Yeah.
was he before he met with the press? Saying irrelevant. Had like all of the things he said were very coached into his head before he even took a question that day.
Because Jeff Traylor said the same thing, that it was irrelevant. That
And
I
he
just-
really pissed me off calling it asinine. And,
yeah.
I think even Tim Pernetti, the American Conference Commissioner, pissed me off. He called it
Called it
clickbait.
Tim
No,
Pernetti
it's
sucks.
anything but clickbait. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
You may not
He
like the truth.
sucks.
It's the truth.
I've got another point I want to make about what you were saying in terms of the conversation. Christian had mentioned this before we got on the thing. I was like, well, that's a great point. Let me bring this up real quick. You asked about the conversation, and I don't want to necessarily put words in people's mouths, but you said, okay, look, here you go, though. Here you go, though.
Oh,
That's all the signals. I can tell you what they were talking about in the screenshot prior to that. Look at the very end. But let me know if they cut your stuff. I'll put in a word.
yeah.
That means he was still on the team at Memphis with
Yes.
the idea that he was about to get cut from the team because of the bullshit that he had been doing. So let me know if they cut you. I'll put in a word. You can come to
Hey,
UCSA.
I know that Memphis was probably running their course with Taj anyway. Slick tampering, just to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of tampering from a sitting starting quarterback at a rival institution in conference.
This was when Taj Rah-El was still practicing with his teammates. I guarantee you the next day he was at practice with his teammates, knowing full well that he had given those play calls, the signals to the opposing team they were playing the next week.
Yeah. No,
Unbelievable.
it is absolutely absurd. And like I said to start it off, like when you don't have any loyalty to your teammates, when you don't have any loyalty to a program, when you've bounced to a couple schools already, you've already been cut by this program, like it's just, I don't want to say this is going to be something that's super prevalent and reoccurs all the time, but you can see a world where this is much more likely than it ever was. And who knows? This could have had. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure a similar situation to this has happened in the past. Maybe it was through word of mouth. Maybe it was, from whatever the case may be. I'm sure there's been something somewhat similar to this, but for it to be out there, like the whole thing, no hiding, like this is butt naked in a massive crowd right here.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around this. You cannot deny this. You cannot get away from this. Like this is legitimate. This is real. And it's a bad look for anybody. So
Yeah.
you feel bad for Memphis because it's always going to be a what could have been now, and it gives Memphis fans like that even more just battered fan syndrome for like what happens if we win this game and what happens if they don't have our signals and who knows. So it's a sucky situation all around. Like it's one of the more like one of the more absurd sports stories I've ever seen. I can't fathom being a competitor and doing that.
Neither can I. I've seen a lot of guys, like I said, angry. Never did it cross their mind to do some nonsense like this. I think that what you're saying, though, Christian, is a fair point. I think with the day and age of the transfer portal and people selling their program on the transfer portal and maybe putting out more promises that they don't deliver out on the open market than they have in the past. I think it's very likely you're going to have angry guys, angry players that expect to be getting more playing time and feel like they're being done wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to get frustrated, and frustration can boil over. I will say this, though. I think what was done here by Taj Rah-El is still going to be insanely uncommon.
Yes.
This is a rogue personality who's clearly just not the smartest guy or the nicest guy, who is a very selfish seeming person. Like I said, perception is reality. I don't know Taj. I can go off what I've heard about him and what's been reported, though. But I still think this exact situation is going to be uncommon going into the future.
Yeah, I think it's going to be uncommon for sure, but it's much more likely than it has.
But the anger and the frustration boiling over, very common in today's day and age.
Yeah, no doubt. Boys,
and also for Taj, can I just say this? Don't steal your teammate's damn PlayStation. Then you probably won't be pissed off in the back, because he got playing time even after all this shit happened.
Right.
Last year. Like, just don't give yourself self-inflicted wounds.
Right.
Then this won't happen. Final thing. Ryan Silverfield did respond to this, and I thought it was fine. Like, I thought he hit it on the head. He took responsibility for having this go on in his program, which
that's par for the course.
I kind of appreciated. That's pretty big of him to do, to say, if I would have just had this shit under wraps, we would have been okay. But I didn't, clearly. So I take full responsibility. And I thought that's the way to go. It does suck, though, that no punishment really going to come out of this in all likelihood. Taj Rah-El at Purdue now.
If you're Purdue, do you keep him?
I wouldn't. I'm telling you, I would not. I just don't. And Purdue put out a statement basically saying they're standing behind him.
But then they removed him off the roster, it looked like.
I had seen that, but they put out a statement that was contrary. Yeah. If I'm a football coach, a head football coach that brought this guy in,
not taking that,
I would immediately say juice is not worth the squeeze.
Agreed.
If he can do this to someone else, he can sure as hell do it to me.
Yeah, right. Couldn't agree more. All right, boys, let's take a quick break, and we will be back on the other side with the Hot 3.
Choking and token. The Mid-South's first cannabis-themed jiu-jitsu tournament.
August 16th at Midtown Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu.
At 1 p.m. 21 plus to compete or consume.
Consumption not required.
Ounce of Hope is licensed by the state of Tennessee. This is all 100% legal hemp products. Everything's good to go.
We'll have gi divisions.
No gi divisions.
Madison bracket, guaranteeing 4 matches per division, plus an absolute winner.
Each fighter receives an Ounce of Hope gift bag, and there's prizes for every winner.
Check out the link below to sign up.
In 2026, my goal is to wear more clothes that would look cool with Jaws. Okay, the Jaw 3s. I'm working on it. Part of it, and I'll just be honest. We're honest on this show. Is I don't have a very athletic body, and I feel like to have a dope shoe collection, you can't be walking around in clothes that don't fit you right because you don't have a correct size. Okay, so I'm gonna get in shape so I can look cool in some Jaw 3s. Okay,
attaboy. Because my body type is like that guy works out, but he also likes beer and pizza, and that's all I'm trying to live my life as. Like, I'm not trying to be shredded, but fit enough to wear Jaws is good with me, and that's that fit-ish. I wore a shirt, I think it was last week on here. It says kind of fit, kind of fat, and that I've never been more perfectly described in a t-shirt, and that's just what I strive to be. It's kind of fit, but yet kind of fat.
Tune in to the $2 Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live at 11 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story. Christian, I let Gabe know I was very pissed off at him last week.
Again?
He's been talking so much stuff about my hot 3 intros.
That I really, you know what? I told him last week. I'll say it again this week to reiterate it in front of Christian. Christian, you can back me up on this. I think I don't want to force you into something you don't want to back up. I don't talk trash on Kenny's intro. I just say I'm not going to bring the same energy Kenny does because it's just not for me.
Hey, that's true. Like that is. If I did it, I should put myself in those shoes. If I was bringing in the hot 3, I would say probably something very similar. Like I'm not going to bring the same energy that Kenny's going to bring.
Listen, let's go into it. Let's get into the hot 3. Boys, training camps are starting in the NFL. What are some of the biggest storylines from NFL training camps that you guys are excited to see unfurled?
Pay Micah, pay Micah, pay Micah, pay Micah. That's what they were chanting at Cowboys training camp this weekend.
Yeah.
And Stephen Jones, who's I guess executive vice president at this point, GM.
Yeah.
He responded, Jerry's son, of course. He said, we want to pay Micah, but he's got to want to be paid too. And my first response was,
shut the hell up.
You mean the guy that day one of training camp stood up there for 15 minutes with the media, with Trayvon Diggs next to him, and talked about how much he wanted to get paid? Are we talking about the same guy? But I think that's the storyline I'm watching the most. Can the Cowboys overcome the distraction that has become the Micah Parsons extension?
Yeah. No, I thought it was pretty telling when was it Jerry that got? I think it was Jerry that got on stage and they just paid Micah, chanted him, and booed him, and that's kind of the energy you want to see, at least if you're me. But yeah, I mean, I understand, I get it. Paying $35-40 million a year to a defensive player is difficult, but it's what you got to do. He's one of the best defense players in the game. He's pretty much the only difference maker down in and down out that you have on the defensive side of the ball. So you got to do what you got to do. You got to pay him, and it's part of the NFL. You have good players, you have to pay them. You paid CD, you paid Dak. Now you got to pay Micah. You paid D. I mean, you've paid your good players, and luckily Micah has not held out and has not. He has been with the team the entire time. CD Lamb, they took a little bit longer to get him in. I think that affected his season a little bit. And with Micah, I just don't think you can afford to do that. I think, and he, like I said, once again, he's there. He's not holding out, so I think it's all fine. But just get it done. I don't understand why the Cowboys always have to drag these deals out so far. Just get it done.
Well, they're going to pay at least $42 million because that's going rate for highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. That's what Mike is going to get. They could have paid this so much earlier, man. God dang.
Same thing with CD.
What the hell is their problem?
Yeah.
Like I see these types of deals for defensive player of the year candidates go down every once in a while. TJ Watt gets his. If he keeps up the same type of production the next few years, that's going to look like a steal in a couple of years.
Right.
But like, who was it? Pat Surtain signed last offseason to be the highest paid cornerback in NFL history at what, $24 million per year?
Yeah. And then won defensive player of the year.
He won defensive player of the year. That's now 5th among corners in the NFL.
It's always going to change.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
The Bengals and the Cowboys just operate so unseriously. But what's hilarious about them operating similarly and equally as dumb, the Bengals are the least valuable franchise in the NFL. The Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in the NFL.
Yeah.
So at least the Bengals have that excuse to lean on. Cowboys don't. They just simply do not. And I'm telling you, like, these types of things and the things I've heard from Micah, it shows that like the focus isn't necessarily on the season right now.
Right. It's not on
the focus is on here and now getting Micah on the field. And I think the Cowboys, if Dak stays healthy, now having George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, they could have a 10-11 win season if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
But all of this stupidity happening off the field, it distracts from the actual task heading into this year. And that's to make the playoffs again after winning 7 games last year.
Yeah, and the last thing from Cowboys camp, Gabe, I don't know if you saw this because it happened right before we got on, but they thought Tyler Guyton tore his ACL. Apparently, it's just I think they said a bone bruise or something like that.
It's a bone bruise?
Bone fracture.
Oh, okay.
So
they thought he tore his ACL and it was a bone fracture.
4 to 6 weeks instead of the entire season.
Jeez.
So that's a big deal. That one had me a little bit nervous. Not that Tyler Guyton had a great year, but you can't be affording a new left tackle a month before the season starts.
Yeah.
But moving along, let's talk a little bit of Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, and then we'll move on to our next topic. Gabe, how do you feel about this team this year? We've had a lot of conversations about them since they signed Aaron Rodgers. Right now, as it sits, are the Pittsburgh Steelers a playoff team going into the season?
All right, we're getting an affirmative yes or a denial of a no. I'm going to say yes. I think they'll be a wild card team.
Whoa.
I think they'll stay.
Surprising.
I think they'll stay.
I know why he's saying yes. Because
I think
he
they'll
wants
stay
Calvin
healthy.
Austin in the playoffs. That's why.
I think they'll stay healthy enough. I think if Aaron Rodgers recreates the statistics even he had last year with the Jets, that's more than enough to win 10 games with that Steelers defense on the other side. Mike Tomlin always gets a lot out of a little, and I don't think they have a little. They just have a lot of older players that are outside of their all-pro prime window. Jalen Ramsey, I still think can play good ball. Darius Slay, I still think can play good ball. Cam Hayward can play good ball. TJ Watt, I think could potentially win Defensive Player of the Year now that he's got his new contract extension.
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth, that's a good sort of tight end room, and I think they can get a little bit more inventive now, run some more 12 personnel, have 2 tight ends on the field at the same time, and I know that Arthur Smith's been wanting to get to that for a while. So I'll say this: as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I think they can be a playoff team. Do they win a playoff game? I don't know. Probably not. But I think my overarching big take about this Pittsburgh Steelers team is if it was 2021, I would call them a Super Bowl favorite. Wow. But it's 2025. That's how I feel about the Steelers this year. Still think they can get a wild card spot and be in the playoffs. You?
Yeah, I genuinely believe DK Metcalf might have like 180 targets this year. For real, him and Aaron Rodgers are doing what Aaron Rodgers does with every number one receiver. They're becoming like super duper best friends. And we know what that was with Devontae Adams. With Garrett Wilson, it was a little bit different. I mean, he still got heavily targeted, but it was a little bit different. Garrett Wilson is more that precise route runner, can really attack the middle of the field. And that's never really been Aaron Rodgers' guy. I mean, since Devontae Adams. Jordy Nelson was more of a middle of the field route runner guy. But since Devontae Adams, Rodgers has been like a down the field, 50-50 ball, back shoulder fade guy. DK fits much more. And I'm not taking away Devontae Adams' route running. Come on, guys. I understand. I know he's a great route runner. But Aaron Rodgers and those big body targets are just like that. That's what he goes for. Yeah. And when you look at that receiving core, there's not really anything else. Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, not much there. Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, probably a little bit more so than the rest of the receiving core. But I think he is going to feed DK Metcalf this year heavily. But with that being said, do I think they're a playoff team? I think them and the Bengals are going to be really, really close. And I know the Bengals defense is bad. I understand that. But Joe Burrow almost willed them to the playoffs last year with the worst defense in the league, one of the worst defenses in the league, and just having to score 40 points every week. They had bad luck in some of those one-score games. It didn't go their way. The ball didn't bounce their way a lot of the times. But when you've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Chase Brown, who was incredible last year, Joe Burrow, that team's just going to be hard to stop. It doesn't matter what defense they play. I know they play in a division with the Ravens, who have a great defense, and the Steelers, who have a great defense. But to me, it's going to be one of those situations that comes down to Week 17, Week 18, who can win those last 2 games. To me, it is going to be a really tough fight between the Steelers and the Bengals for probably that last wild card playoff spot.
So, give me an affirmative yes or a complete denial no.
I'm going to go no. I just have more faith in Joe Burrow.
Okay. I hear that. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I also, with the Bengals, I think we could see 3 playoff teams out of that division this year.
We could.
I'm buying into the Bengals a little bit too. I think because it's hard to be worse than they were defensively last year.
Correct.
So I think they'll take a little bit of a step in the right direction. New leadership may do that for them. They need Trey Hendrickson out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, they need to
See
get
what
that
happens
done.
there. But I fully expect Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase to be as filthy as they were last year. And
Me too.
I have this take, and I've been workshopping it a while. I want to know what you think. If Joe Burrow made the playoffs last year, how much more of a conversation would it have been for him to actually win the MVP?
I think he wins it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, he
led the league in
done.
passing yards. He was top 5, or maybe he was top 3 in completion percentage, and he was number 1 in passing touchdowns.
Yeah,
So,
I think he would have won it. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that their defense was so bad because he had 4,900 yards, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and a 108.5 rating.
like that's ridiculous. That's
nuts.
crazy stat.
Just nuts. So, yeah, I mean, he's on the short list of guys.
What
that
a waste of a year of somebody's prime.
I know. So
That
bad.
sucks for Joe Burrow.
4,943, and you don't even make the playoffs.
Like if I showed you that stat line before last year, you would have told me that the Bengals were going to be in the AFC Championship again.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
All right, King.
All right. Topic number 2. One of the greatest storylines, and of course, this was going to be a storyline coming out of the NBA season with Luka Doncic headed to the Lakers. Of course, now everybody is all over Luka Doncic because he's an LA Laker. So all the good stories are coming out. But apparently we have skinny Luka. Let me show you all this picture. He's on the cover of Men's Health. And I do want to say, like, shout out to him for doing what he's doing, right? Like, he looks like an NBA basketball player now and not a dude who I played ball with on Friday night at the Y, right?
Well, if he was playing with you on Friday night at the Y, he's still putting up crazy numbers.
Oh, no, he's incredibly talented.
I don't care if it's fat or skinny Luka. He's still Luka to me.
No, I think it's safe to say that everybody has pissed him off. Like, clearly, he's fed up with it. He's heard enough. I'm glad that he kind of took initiative and is doing this. I mean, you gotta think of the reality check when you think that you're kind of set in stone in one place as the franchise piece, the number 1 piece for the next 10 plus years, and you get shipped off. That's got to be a huge wake-up call, huge reality check, on top of it being the Lakers, the biggest team in the NBA, on top of playing with LeBron James, the biggest star in NBA history, and knowing what he does to take care of his body. Like, this is all the perfect storm for Luka to do exactly what he did. And we know how good he's been throughout his career. And you look at him now and you go, okay, I can remember his first couple years in the league when he was in better shape, just how much quicker he looked, how much more dynamic he looked. It is not crazy at all to say, like, everybody's going to fuel him to win an MVP this year.
Yes.
Like, I feel like that's the safest bet right now as far as MVP goes. Like, it is definitely MVP season for him.
As soon as this Men's Health magazine got published and he was on the cover and everybody saw his transformation body-wise, he jumped Giannis for third shortest odds to win the MVP. He's only behind SGA and Jokic. So there's that. Listen, I still think Nico Harrison's a moron, right? Like, that goes without saying. GM of the Dallas Mavericks. But I also look at that trade last year and what has transpired since, with his name being dragged through the mud, Luka's, and this transformation body-wise. And I think I could also make the case this may have been the best thing for his career.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I agree.
Sometimes you need to be reminded that, hey, you still have to work at this thing. You still have to work your ass off. You can't let yourself get out of shape. You need to be, on your P's and Q's every single offseason.
Yep.
Make sure that you stay on the floor on a consistent basis. Like, I think what we saw on Men's Health, while it is just the prototypical NBA summer story, right up there with Steven Adams shooting threes and Ben Simmons,
Ben Simmons having a jumper.
While it's a prototypical summer NBA story, I don't think you can ignore this like you do a normal summer NBA story.
Agreed.
This is for real. This guy is trying to become the face of the most historic franchise in NBA history, and he's taking it as serious as humanly possible. And have you guys seen like the details on what he has done? He didn't do any basketball workouts for a month and a half after the season. So all he did was get his body right. And he does 2-a-day workouts, 16 hours worth of fasting. He's only got an 8-hour eat window. 250 grams of protein a day, and then he is going gluten-free and very minimal sugar. And he has lost, I mean, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's pretty clear.
It's a substantial.
Pretty clear he's lost like 15 to 25 pounds. It's a lot.
He looks like his body is less inflamed, right? Like
oh yeah,
that's what sugar does to you. Like taking sugar out of your diet changes everything. Alcohol, it takes out taking alcohol, taking little bitty, sugar snacks out of your diet. It takes the inflammation out, and he looks like the inflammation is gone in his body. So yeah,
no doubt.
What's interesting about it is like it's the same situation. So what I appreciate about the Lakers, this situation with Luka and the way that he's responded to all of the critique, everything that's happened, makes me like JJ Redick as a coach more, because I don't know if y'all remember this. It was reported at the end of the season, during a team meeting at the end of the season, looked at Luka and said, "You need to be in championship shape next year."
Yeah, and he did it at a presser too.
And he did it at a presser too. And then turned around and they let Luka in. There's that reporting done by Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst where they talk about having a meeting at Craig's restaurant, where they bring out a binder in front of Pelinka and JJ Redick, and Luka Doncic were there, and they're basically giving him the franchise. This franchise is yours. What are you going to do with it? Yeah. Right? We've already challenged you. We've inspired you to be the main guy in this franchise.
Fully handing you the keys.
Shout out to Luka for listening and going after it, man. He's done it.
But okay, I know I do believe this may have been one of the best things for his career, and we'll see that next year. It does sort of beg the question to me, though, like seeing this transformation. Could no one with the Mavs give him a kick in the ass?
Right. That's the weird part about
they never went out publicly until he left. They never tried to give him that extra push. They just gave up on him.
Yes.
When he didn't do things their way. And it's like, could you guys try something first to like get him on the path you want him on? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's a leadership thing, and it's still, to me, like a complete miss by the Dallas Mavericks. Like, the Lakers got this done, and maybe you trading him gave him a little bit of extra motivation. I can completely see that. But I think calling him out publicly or getting him behind the scenes, slapping him around a little bit, like
anything possible. Like,
I think you try that before you just go to trading him. That's just nuts to me.
Agreed. All right, Kenny. Last
topic number 3. We want to end the show with some sobering yet encouraging news that came out today. Obviously, Deion Sanders has been out of coaching for a while. This offseason hasn't been in Colorado, has been battling some mysterious illness. Today, a couple days ago, they scheduled an emergency press conference with his team of doctors and Coach Prime. And basically, man, the rumors and the reports were everybody was saying, oh, he's done. He's quitting. He's not going to be in Colorado anymore. And then coming out with a thing of like, he's not a competitor because now all of his main guys are gone. So he's leaving and making up some excuse. Well, he announced today, and his doctors announced today, that he has been battling bladder cancer. And they went in, did the treatment, took his bladder out, and now they are saying he is cancer-free. And Deion Sanders said at the podium today, I will be coaching, but things are going to be different, but I will be coaching again. So what are y'all's thoughts, man? Like, what do y'all want to say about this situation?
Yeah, to me, it's just shout out to him, like for the way that he handled this situation. No, I think that they said he figured this out, like, towards the end of the season, maybe around the spring, or maybe around the springtime, something like that. And I was reading earlier that he basically did not tell the severity of the injury to anybody, but specifically like Shedeur, Shiloh, Travis Hunter, and kind of let them have their process and go through their process, and not have them concerned or worrying about him while they're trying to the next level in football, get drafted into the NFL, going through combines, workouts, all this stuff. And that, to me, like, that says more about someone's character than pretty much anything else. To think that to think that you're selfless enough to be like, look, I could potentially die. Like, I am going through something really serious right now. But for my boys, like for Travis and Shiloh and Shador, like I want them to be able to focus on that next step and bettering themselves and not sitting here worrying about me and trying to fly back and forth between me and workouts and stuff like that. And that to me, that's a great, that's about as a good guy move as you can have.
Yeah. I listen, I don't want to advocate for not telling your children though, because like I still think your children want to know and deserve to know what their father's going through. But I think what this tells me, the fact that he did this in the quiet and didn't let anyone know, wanted to go through it himself and fight it, and not telling his kids so they can focus on their life. Like all of the people that have this narrative out there about Prime always being about himself and wanting to be in the limelight and wanting to make everything about himself. I never want to hear you say those words or that criticism out of your mouth ever again.
You can't.
Ever again.
You can't.
He was so ridiculously selfless in a moment where he should have been asking people for their help around
where
him.
he could have been
asking for a support system,
100%.
being able to talk with everybody, but he didn't want to be a hindrance to anybody in his life. Like that to me, God dang, man, what a guy. And you know what? I will say, I hope he finds some control of his health. I know he's been working on that, but he's had blood clots. He's got 8 toes. He lost 2 toes on his I think his right foot. He's been going through it, man. He's been going through it, and obviously you don't know the underlying conditions fully of how all of this happened, but I hope we can get to a point now that he is cancer free where he can have some good health luck for the next I don't know, the lifetime. You know what I mean? He deserves it.
Yeah, and then I mean to close us out, like shout out to him also for coming back.
Oh,
right.
You know, not leaving his team.
He's got more than enough money and more than enough fame and more than enough notoriety.
At this point, I don't think anybody would blame him. Nobody would. I don't think.
Correct.
Very few miserable people would say anything if he had decided to hang it up and call it a career as far as coaching goes, and just, I don't know, maybe take a couple years and focus on his health and worry about himself and then come back maybe. But instead, it's like knowing who he is through the, just the things that he said and the public perception that he's had. It's like, I'm not leaving these guys either, and some people were saying that, like you said, Gabe, like, he's going to end up leaving, or Kenny, whoever said it, he's going to end up leaving. His guys are gone, his kids are gone, like he's out. But for him to be going through everything that he's going through, still recruiting, obvious. I mean, I don't know how much he was doing in person or what the actual day-to-day was looking like, but as a collegiate head coach, you really can't take time off recruiting. So still recruiting, still doing the things that he needed to do on the coaching side. Like it's pretty incredible just overall what he's done and what he's went through over the last several months. I can't imagine. So hopefully, like you said, Gabe, clean health moving forward and gets to focus on football, enjoying his son's NFL career and coaching at Colorado and not having to constantly battle health issues.
Yep, for sure. But just insane story. I knew there were health issues. I had no idea the severity, and to see it was legitimately cancer.
Yeah.
And
let me ask you this:
Word one.
Y'all talked about him enjoying his son's career. Are we going to see him, one of his sons, being QB1 for the Cleveland Browns this year with Kenny Pickett's injury?
Maybe 1 week of the year.
Kenny Pickett injury?
Joe Flacco.
Kenny Pickett injury. I saw Joe Flacco is going to start the year.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett.
I think everybody in that quarterback room could get some type of start.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
I would imagine. I saw a report from ESPN saying after the Kenny Pickett thing, and obviously they expect Kenny Pickett to come back here in about a week. But I saw that they could plan on trading one guy out of that room.
Yeah.
Before week 1, and I was just sort of doing process of elimination, and I eliminated one guy that's not getting traded. They're not trading Joe Flacco under any circumstances. So Pickett, Gabriel, Shador, I guess worst of the bunch getting traded. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
All right, boys, let's wrap it up. We appreciate everybody for joining us this week. If you're watching on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, and comment there. If you're listening via podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platform, you can do the same thing there. Once again, we appreciate you guys for joining us, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.